Canto 17. Behold the beast with the barbed tail, who flies past mountains, scattering armies, smashing walls. Behold the beast whose stench sickens the world. So did my guide begin, speaking to me and signaling the thing to come to land at the end of the stone walk on the dike. And that disgusting likeness of deceit arrived, and lugged his head and chest ashore, but did not draw his tail onto the beach. He had the features of an honest man, so kindly was his countenance at the skin, but the trunk down below was serpentine. His paws were furry to the shoulder tops, and his back and his breast and both his sides were particolored, all in whorls and knots. Not Turks nor Tartars weaving carpets weave more colors for their groundwork or their fringe. Arachne never set them on her loom. As barges sometimes mooring at the shore stand part within the water, part on land, and as among those Germans swilling beer. The beaver dips his tail into the brook to seize his prey. This worst of beasts stood here, on the stone rim, the cut-off of the sand. Out into empty space he flicked his tail, coiling the venomous fork to keep it high, which armed his bone point like a scorpion's flail. Now we must veer a little, said my guide, and take our way down to that vicious beast who waits there crouching. So to the right side we turned, descending down the bank of stone, and took 9 or 10 steps upon its verge to keep clear of the sand and hailing flame. And when we had come up to it, I saw souls sitting a bit farther up the dunes near the edge of the chasm. My teacher then, in order that you may bring back with you the full experience of this round, he said, go and observe the habits of that crew, but clip your conversation, keep it short. While you are gone, I'll haggle with this beast, that he may yield the use of his strong back. And so along the 7th Circle's cape I went on, all alone, until I came to where the mournful people sat in pain. Sorrowing streams broke from their eyes, and here and there, with restless hands, they tried to find relief from fireflakes or the scalding ground, not unlike dogs who in the sweltering days snap with the snout or scratch with flurried paw when they are bit by fleas or gnats or flies. When I had turned my eyes to stare at some upon whose faces fell the dolorous fire, not one could I make out, yet I observed that round the neck of each one hung a pouch of its own color and insignia. Each seemed to gorge his eyes upon that feast. And as I walked beside them, noting well, I saw in azure, on a purse of gold, a face and rampant figure of a lion. The chariot of my vision rolling on, I saw another purse of red as blood, showing a goose whiter than butter, one who bore a fat and farrowing sow of blue for the insignia of his silver sack, said, "What are you doing in this gutter, you? Get lost! And just because you're still alive, know that Vitaliano from my town will someday sit in hell at my side. I am Paduan, with those Florentians they thunder and they thunder in my ears. Salute the coming of the sovereign knight, who brings the bag with the 3 goats. He made a face, then, screwing up his mouth and sticking his tongue out like an ox that licks its nose, fearing that if I stayed much longer there, I'd irk the man who warned me to be quick. I turned my back on those defeated souls, and found my leader had already climbed upon the haunch of the fierce animal. He said to me, "Be fearless now, and strong. Now we go down the pit by stairs like these. Climb on the front. I want to stay between, to guard you from the venom of its tail, as one who shudders with the 4-day chills of quartan fever, nails already blue, shivers all over at the sight of shade. So did I shudder at his words, but shame rose up against me with its threats, which make a servant brave before his valiant lord. I took my seat upon its cursed back, trying to say, but my voice couldn't come as I thought, "Please, hold on to me tight." But he, who'd come so often to my aid in times of doubt and peril, when I mounted, secured me with his arms and bore me up and called out, "You can go now, Geryon. Be slow on the descent, keep the turns wide, remember the new weight you carry down, and as a little boat from off the quay slipped steadily backward, so he shoved away, and when he felt himself entirely free, he swung his tail around to meet his chest, swerving and stretching out, and darted like an eel, sweeping the air behind him with his paws. I don't think Phaethon felt greater flight when he let drop his chariot's reins and seared that streak into the sky, still seen at night, nor Icarus when he felt the melting wax unfeathering himself about his loins, his father crying, "You're going the wrong way." Then was the fear I felt when I saw air on every side of me, and every sight extinguished but the savage serpent there. Slowly, slowly it swam, and took its course wheeling, descending, as I could not tell, but for the breeze below and on my cheek. Now on the right hand I could hear the gorge thundering beneath us with a horrible crash, and so I leaned and stared into the gulf. Then I was more afraid of falling off, for I saw flames below and heard the whales trembling and huddled tighter with my thighs. Now I saw what could not be seen before, marking our turning and our plummeting by the great evils nearing all sides. As the trained falcon long upon the wing causes the falconer to cry, "You fall," when without catching sight of call or prey, it drops down in 100 languid turns, where it had taken off with speed, and perches far from its master, peevish and dismayed. So by the very foot of the sheer rock, Geryon landed on the bottom, and free from the burden of our persons, shot, vanishing like an arrow from the string. End of Canto 17.